My name is Sheila Beck, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And it's Friday night, once again. Friday night is, of course, Video Vault night, the Rabbi from another planet Video Vault. But I don't like to go into my Video Vault all alone. No, that's a scary and strange place to go on your own. Although I quite like it. I hope you're all having had a pleasant weekend. You're aiming for a pleasant weekend. As I remember this, which I always forget, I'm going to plug this right now. Don't forget, we have a competition going on this week. The prize is this Doctor Who card game, which I played and nobody's freaking played. No one's ever played this thing. I had somebody in the comments say, "Oh, I got that as well. I never opened it." It was a present from a friend of mine who's a toy manufacturer. He came back from Toy Fair with it because he picks up freebies from me. But it's been sitting gathering dust. So I thought I would make that a part of the prize this week rather than sitting on my shelf and nobody playing with it. But the main prize is this fantastic graphic novel, Scarlet Traces. Go check the video notes. I will have a link to a description of it. It's essentially a very stylized. I like the artwork a lot. It's a very stylized sequel to War of the Worlds, or a bunch of sequels to War of the Worlds, in which the British take the defunct Martian war machines, reverse engineer them, and do what the British Empire does best: subjugate the masses, and it's generally do bad things and foul play. Anyway, so you can win that by subscribing to my subscribe to the channel, subscribe being the important part, and then in the comments leave the hashtag Mars Attacks. It is Mars Attacks. I'm trying to remember, but I guess it's close enough. If I'm wrong, I put it in. You'll get entered in. Fine. Let's get on. So as I said, I'm in the Video Vault. I need people in the Video Vault with me. Although the first person I got in the Video Vault is a bit of a problem. I won't argue with you. He's a bit of a problem. I'm not sure what his problem is. Name dropping is something he suggested last time I was on the street with him. I wonder if that's the same problem today. The problem being, how are you, sir?
Hello, hashtag Mars Attacks. I want that graphic novel.
Oh yeah, you were the first to vote on that one. Okay, good luck. Fine. The next of our brave panelists who walk into the Video Vault unaided is a bit of a geek. He's a bit of a geek, but he's a mega geek. He is, of course, mega geek. How are you, mega geek?
Every week you have to think of something to how to introduce us. It's crazy.
He's gonna run out of
He's a problem being.
He came prepared. You see, like I didn't have to do anything for him. Because Dan has the tagline of royalty. Well,
yeah, he does. He does.
And you know what? I think if anybody amongst us is royalty, I would say it is Dan. He is, of course, Birmingham's own king of the dick, Dan Havley. Just Facebook, type for me.
I'm humbled and moved. Subjects humbled and moved. But yes, that's the only reason I came up with this.
Humbled and hooved.
Humbled and behooved.
Exactly.
So I think people who humbled and behooved were people cast in the movie we're going to be talking about tonight. It is, of course, Sam Mendes' 1917. 1917. Is it a movie or is it a video game that got made into a movie and then they scrapped the video game? And that was my thought watching it when I was going through it. It's a very, very enjoyable thrill ride with every major character actor that's notable in England taken in and thrown across the whole movie to have one incredible stellar scene and then move on and you forget them, you never see them again. It stars a couple of people who I have no idea who they are. I've never seen them in anything before, but I'm sure we're going to be seeing them in stuff again because I think the strength of the performance throughout this movie is, I don't think anybody could argue, it is somewhat breathtaking. The other thing breathtaking is the movie is somewhat unique in that it gives the impression that it was all taken in one take. So everything has this very, very slow, lazy, I wouldn't say lazy, slow, leisurely movement, but it's a very first-person movie where you are 100% with that main character for the entire, I thought it was 90 minutes, it's actually 2 hours. It rattles along at a wonderful pace. And I have to tell you, it's better on the first view than the second view, but I think this movie is a worthy one for anybody's video collection. So let's go through the panel and see who disagrees with me and what for this week. So problem being, what are your thoughts? Your overview of thoughts on this movie?
I absolutely love this film. It was a marvelous cinema. I mean, the cameraman should just get an award on his own. I think for doing that. I don't know. I mean, you just watch it and you're just like, how on earth
well,
you managed to do it?
The second time you see it, you can see where they cut. And
Yeah,
it's
you
very
see the
clever.
edits.
It's very,
it's very well done. It's smooth as hell. I think this movie is beyond slick, really, in the way it was made. And yeah, even the edits are so very well masked.
I think it's pretty seamless. My other thought of it going in is, could he have not taken some of the pulse-pounding excitement from this movie and put some of that in Spectre? Really? Because it seems that you got a good 3 movies worth of tension in this, and you had a -1 movie's worth of tension in Spectre. You would have thought you'll get a bit more in that. Fine, you're a thumbs up. You're like it.
I'm on board.
But now we got to go to we got to cross the major drawbridge, where Mega Geek stares with his troll-like axe to cut us down.
No, I
1917.
I really liked it. I thought it was a terrific movie. You know, I mean, you could. I just like to inform you guys that it was visual effects that did the cuts in between. The very first one you see is when the carriage goes past them.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can tell, you can tell that's a green screen shot that they did that. Yeah. And then there's a really bad edit in there that I spotted right away, is when these people walking past two of the main characters, and then you can see a cut, and then he was meant to be in the middle of the screen, but now he's on the side of the screen. So I spotted that one. Being a filmmaker, you can spot these things. But yeah, but as far as the film goes, it's very, very enjoyable, and you end up caring about the 2 main characters. Yeah. And it was such a I really felt sorry for the guy who, you know, the guy who wanted to go out there to save his brother, warn his brother when he got dispensed.
Right.
I really, that really was a kick in the balls, basically. But it's a great movie.
For 1 second, we have a late breaking edition. I now, fortunately, am not the only member of the clergy on the stream. Access stream. The one, the only, the Nerd Father.
Hallelujah. I think we were going live in about 18 minutes. I thought it was the usual time that we were going live.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's why. I'm sorry. I thought it was early.
Yes, we were doing it at this time, and then we moved it back. The reason time is oscillating is because the evening prayer
gotcha.
moved with the sunset. So we're getting a little bit earlier now. So I
just like to say though, seriously, I really enjoyed this film, and it was very moving in parts. There were some bits where it was kind of slow, but you know, the idea that it looks like it was shot in one camera. Points. Yeah, I know, but the idea that it was shot in one camera, I am, you know, I'm in 2 minds about that. I'm totally convinced that if they didn't do that, it still would have been good. Do you know what I mean? But you know, it was a gimmick.
Yeah, you know, it was a bit of a gimmick, not really needed for the plot.
Yeah.
Although what it did was, again, it brought you right into the main character.
It gave you that real time. It gave you that real time. It gave you that real time feeling that you were really following them on this journey, and it was just so engrossing because you were like surrounded by everything that was going on. You didn't know what was around the corner, and that kept you on your toes. And I watched this whole film sort of in complete suspense the whole time.
How did he survive the bomb, though?
100%.
How did he survive the bomb when the bomb went off? He was under all those rocks.
Wait, we'll get to that when we start going through the movie. Let's just get
How?
It wasn't a very good
9/11. Dan, what are your basic thoughts?
Well, Full House so far. God, you guys are gonna hate me.
Kick him out.
Listen, right. This is the general summary, isn't it? The good news is I enjoyed this film. And I think it's great in many, many respects, not least of all because of those 2 leads, just as you said earlier on, Rabbi, considering the weight of some of the people that are in this, Andrew Scott and Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, there's various, there's Richard Madden's fantastic in it.
Richard Madden's breathtaking.
So, but these 2 guys, absolutely incredible performances, both of them. And so there's that, and there's the obvious things. I mean, the problem being summed it up perfectly. It's the first person thing. We're at somebody's shoulder every step of the way. I haven't seen a film made like this. Oh no, I have actually. In some time, I have, but certainly nowhere near this well. And the way it was shot, the scenery all around you, those big open skies, extraordinary. The choices that were made and that were stuck with, I think, are really, really strong. I think the story's great and the acting's superb. However, shall I just leave that for the time being? Here it is. Yes, I like Sam Mendes. I always have. And his Bond films, both of them, I do love them both. And
really?
In many respects, I like this film.
Spectre.
But Sam Mendes, and it's only watching this, I've got to finally accept Sam Mendes movies. All of them have a pacing problem, and this one had one too. And perhaps we'll come onto that at some point, because it was in 3 acts, the way that a great many are. And for me, there was a serious lull to the point at which it got to the point. I think it dragged to an almost stop to the point where it nearly lost me. And because we'd lost Blake at that point, which I think happened way too early, or maybe even didn't need to happen at all. I don't know. I think camaraderie and that relationship. I'm still, because I only watched this last night, so I'm still sort of weighing it up. Why it started to lose me and what wasn't working, and when it started to not work, it started to get a little bit dull, and I think it's too long. So yeah, I think Sam Mendes movies, including the 2 Bond films that I like, because when I reflect on them, it's the same with them. Despite the fact I like them, Sam Mendes films have a big pacing problem.
Yeah, I hear that. So listen, the good news, my main thought was echoing what you're saying. The good news, I think, is this is a movie of the future. I think more and more movies like this are going to be made now, because it was cheaper, it was lower budget, it relied on story and character, and this is basically all Hollywood could do now.
This wasn't a low budget.
What?
Why would you say
lower
that?
budget than the Avengers. It's lower budget than
how many actors you have in that one?
It was $100 million budget.
The Avengers, of course.
I think the word
are out their reach. They're not going to
100 million. 100 million.
Just to sort of pacify Ian and the Rabbi there, could the word not so much low budget, controlled budget? Sam Mendes would have probably known where every single pound of this was being spent. Is that feasible, Ian?
No, this is a big budget film. There's no way they could have done
I'm not
stuff.
denying. Yeah. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is the reason why it looks so nailed down is because it is very, very bare bones, and Sam Mendes is not extravagant in where.
What you guys don't realize, there was a lot of visual effects involved in this. Visual effects you probably didn't notice. Right in this, like for instance, you probably didn't notice that majority of the dialogue in the first hour and a half was dubbed. You probably didn't know that, because you can. I can tell, obviously. So, and also some of the scenes where they're walking through the trenches, a majority of them were visual effects, were 3D visual effects. So, but they're so well done that But you just got to take
I hear what you're saying, absolutely. But the budget.
But it cost a lot of money to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
so the budget for this was about 90 million. That's
a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's
a good budget
for a studio now. They're spending 200 million on.
But that's superhero films, though. That's superhero
I understand
films. That's
that.
different.
But that's what I'm saying. The reason we've had a proliferation of those massive budget movies is because they were very profitable. Now they're not. The profit margin for those has gone, which makes these type of movies, I think, is the thing we're going to be seeing more and more over the next 10 years. But none go. This movie cannot win an Oscar, obviously, because everybody is a bit too.
Hasn't got a woman in it. That's why you see those rules about the Oscars now.
I've just seen that today. Yes,
crazy.
Exactly. Father Miller, what is your overview of this movie?
I love this movie. I said last week I saw it in the theater when it came out, and
that's the cinema.
The thing that always blows my mind about this is the fact that they take an 18-hour story and make it look like it happens in about 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, the whole idea that nighttime lasts maybe 30 minutes. I've been listening. The what?
He's unconscious for a fair bit.
Yeah,
Right.
That's that bit. Yeah.
The one thing that I've been listening to a lot lately is that song, Wandering Soldier, I believe it is. If you ever seen the music video, it's really beautiful.
Is that the song that was sung in this film?
Yeah. Where beautiful. I mean, the soldier standing up in front of all the troops singing before.
That was amazing.
I mean, it's just still gives you goosebumps listening to it. It's really well done.
I did.
I mean, I was hoping this would win Best Picture. I mean, it's one of those movies that I don't know if I'm going to sit down and watch it a whole lot again, because I mean, it makes a big impact on you. Like, I mean, I hate to go down the road, but kind of like a Schindler's List in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, listen, this movie is all emotional impact. The whole thing is just playing. And again, watching it again, you do. It's like going through a ride at Disney for a second time. You do get to see the strings a little bit more. You know, which doesn't bother me because I liked seeing it. So yeah, let's start breaking down the plot of this movie. So we have we have two characters. We have this guy. Blake and Blake is told to go and report to the commander and pick somebody. So he picks this guy. What's his name? Do you remember his name? I don't remember his name.
George Mackay.
I mean, that's his real name. What's the character's name?
I never caught it. Never caught it.
Exactly.
That's at the ending.
The only person I recognized was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well,
Lieutenant.
The first famous person we have here is Colin Firth.
William Schofield. William Schofield.
That's the name.
Lieutenant William Schofield.
There you go. So they go see the General Colin Firth, and he gives them the most insane stakes possible. That's going to drive the whole movie. He says, "Okay," in his very very British reserve thing. We've got a 1,600 men are about to run into a massive trap and be massacred. One of them happens to be one of your brothers. You've got about 18 hours to go through no man's land and through German territory, but it's okay. We know the Germans are gone, probably, right? So you just got to get through, to this through to this town, go through the trenches, get through the town, and give them this message saying to call off this attack that they've been planning and they've been running around doing, getting G'd up for apparently the last 6 months, right? So that's all you got to do. And so so the first thing that happens is they go,
and it's a game changer as well. This will change the face of the war.
Yes,
so very high stakes.
I forgot to bring it. So again, I'm thinking I really would like this as a game, and I'm not a massive gamer, but I'm like, as a game, this will be freaking awesome. This will be like The Last of Us, which is one of the only games I've ever played. So the first thing that happens is he goes and reports to Andrew Scott. So Andrew Scott, the call sheet is I need somebody pushed to the edge, neurotic, and one step away from being insane, maybe is insane already. So he's like, oh, this again, no problem. I'll see you in France. So he comes over, he films a cameo, and he's brilliant as of course you expect him to be. And he shows the two people where to step out over the trenches and go into no man's land. So they go into no man's land, and it's not very nice there. It's not very nice. Way through, he said, avoid the craters. They're deeper than you think because they're full of water. There's mud everywhere, and if you fall in, you're probably going to drown. You just got to go over the dead horse and by the guy who's been shot and hanging on barbed wire, and go to the left, and then then just go straight, and you'll be at the German trenches. And that whole sequence lasts for 10 minutes. It seems like an hour. I'm like, oh, it's the most tense 10 minutes.
It is.
I did wonder, Rabbi, if this was based on a true story or anything. There was no sort of card at the end to say that it was.
Yes, it was.
Because it does.
It was based on a story from Mendes' uncle.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Well, it didn't actually say that, though, did it? It was dedicated to
it's the story.
Commander Mendes.
Yeah,
but
I think
who told the stories.
Yeah.
But it doesn't state.
Like the House of Stern movie. It's an amalgamation of the stories that happened.
Because there's a lot of. I find it quite difficult to believe some of it, you see, and when you said about it feeling a little bit like a game, I do sort of get that, and I think some of it, I don't know. When you sit back and think about it, how feasible is it that they would ask two guys to do
I
it?
think in times of war like this, I mean, we do
Yeah,
hear such crazy stories that do come out, you know, about
honestly,
what people
I
did.
can see Colin First General saying, you know, okay, what runners do you have that can get us over there? And he'll get a list of them and says, do any of them have any relatives? I can see him doing that. That's what
because I mean, the truth of the matter is that if he hadn't have done it, that we'd have had no film and no story. And that, exactly. If you send one man, they've got nobody to really talk to, nobody to relate to, and there's nobody to kill off, and which means there's a lot less drama because you still got. But there's still, you see, because they kill Blake off so early. For me, it's again this convenience after convenience after convenience in this movie.
I really like them Blake off early. I really spoilers, by the way. Yeah, I really like them.
He was just wonderful. That actor.
I
think it worked when they killed him off. It really did work, and you really did feel sorry for him because he was like being human. He was trying to save that German, and the German stabbed him. You know what I mean? It's like
because he's the warm character in these early scenes. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but in these early scenes, Rabbi, he's the warm one, isn't he? He's the one. Yeah. He's the sort of the cherry faced guy that you want to sort of take him under your.
He's the most emboldened. Yeah, he's the emboldened, ready to take his reluctant friend across no man's land.
What really connected me emotionally to the story was the bond of the brothers between him and his brother. He had to get. Now, I don't have a brother. I got two sons, and both of them will be exactly like this. I mean, the older one would probably save the day. The younger one will probably, die horribly and kill hundreds of people. Both of them would be like, I don't.
You only get this from the Rabbi. This is why.
Exactly.
Love him. His heart's in the right place. Honestly, there's nothing you could do to stop them going. Like the determination you saw in Blake's eyes, right? I really related to that by looking at my sons, right? Because I know there is nothing that would stop them. There's just not, and that I think is reflected perfectly. I think it's very authentic and very real. And again, just made me love the character that much more. So yeah, before we get to his death, they go through no man's land. They get to the German trenches, and they have this really spooky moment where they go through the German bunkers, the underground bunkers. And they notice how much better it is than all of theirs, and how much bigger everything is. How much better off they are.
So nicely
the
done,
rats.
The CGI rats.
Even the rats was bigger. They notice a tripwire, and there's bags of food hanging up. They said they notice the tripwire, and the rats grabs one of the bags of food, causes one of the explosives to go up. And who was it said how could he have survived?
How could he survive? He was under all those rocks and everything. I mean, those things weighed a lot. It's like he was just under all of it. It's like he would be crushed.
It's one of those things. For me, it didn't break.
No, it didn't. No, not for me.
It could mean that Cersei is alive after all.
It's like really.
And don't forget, Blake is actually Cersei's son in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh God, is that right? I thought I'd seen him somewhere. But I couldn't
yeah.
Oh right, he's the one who jumped out of his tongue.
Yeah. So
He's
setting himself up for a Sean Bean style career here.
What's interesting about this film, right? The war films that British people make, I'm pretty sure that it was very much driven by British people and the Americans. Look at what is it? What's that one with Tom Hanks where Saving Private Ryan? The way Tom Hanks dies, he dies like a hero, doesn't he? He's like sitting there going bang, 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 takes them all out, and then he dies. This guy, he just gets stabbed. That's the difference between the British films and American films.
The mundanity of his death, that is so shocking. It's so shocking. It's so shocking that he dies in such a stupid, meaningless way.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what British film. That's what the British tone is all about, isn't it? It's about giving us the black end of life. That's what British film are. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, whatever. Go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
They have this incredible venture. They make it. So the explosives go off. The ceiling falls on them. They got to get out of there before the whole thing collapses. Again, I'm thinking, I wish I was playing this game. This game was awful. They finally what was it? The Blake saves the other guy, whatever his name is, drags him out of there. He's got dust all in his eyes, but they just make it out. And then they start their slow journey, to wherever they're going. What's the name of the town? I can't remember the name. Akust. They start their slow journey into Akust. They come out from the tree line, and wait, before we go forward, from this opening sequence, does anybody have any thoughts they want to talk about?
Well, I would like to mention briefly something that you've sort of led into a little, Rabbi, earlier on, and this could well be my age. I know the grey's coming in a little, but I know this was done deliberately. But not only are these actors, they probably look very young for their age as well. But I noticed how all of the actors in this, there was nobody was cast who was like 5-7 years older than the parts they're playing, which is something we see so often, particularly in TV, but in films too. They deliberately picked men, I feel, who did look very, very youthful. Some of these, they looked younger than my children. You know, they look like babies. And this picture, you know, they're clutching those weapons there. You know, there's not much to them physically. They're not strong, physically large men. And so to see them, you know, against the odds, against the elements, in going across various different kinds of terrain and being pulled in and out of rubble and shit and human remains and things like that. God, that has a real power. It would have. There was
that scene where he grabs the barbed wire and he gets his hand cut, and then he goes into this crater, and there's a dead body there with like a chest wound opened up, and he falls in and he puts his hand straight through.
Same hand. Chest. Oh, come on, son. Let me go and run that under some water for you. Yeah, I felt like I was watching one of my children.
I really thought that was going to become like a big problem. You know, he's going to get an infected hand. You'll have to be cut off or something. I thought, oh God, it's going to go down that road. Thankfully, it didn't.
That all
I have to say though that my great grandfather, when he joined the First World War, he was 14. He stole his older brother's papers to sign up. So he went under his brother's name.
It's a common story.
And because he was, you know, eager and willing to do it. You know, this is back in I think it was, I think this is the start. Yeah, because he was 14. Hold on, he was 14. He was born in 1901, so it would have been 1915.
What's the expression problem being? Lions led by donkeys, something like that. That's what they used to say about the troops, like people such as your great grandfather. They were lions led by donkeys, like the Colin Firths were. Didn't have the heart of the people who were doing the trudging through.
That's one of the central things of this movie, right? The just the towering heroism that just keeps coming on, and also I think like this incredible masculinity as well. This real genuine masculinity and heroism. It's just like that. You're just in awe of how he keeps going.
I was going to say, it inspired me, and your comment, Dan, reminded me of Stephen Fry in Blackadder.
I was about to mention that.
Yeah, it got me inspired because I haven't seen Blackadder Goes Forth in a few years. I mean, I have it on DVD. I probably will watch it tonight.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. The futility of war, you know, under these crazy elites who just have got a bloodlust, and it's like, they don't, you know, they don't care how many people they die for, like a square piece of land. You know, is that a scale map? What's the scale? It's like 1 to 1. It's just like a tiny
again, I'm thinking Blackadder getting the drink card about an inch closer to Berlin.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
there's still from the very, very harrowing.
I have to say, when I did Warhorse, and we were doing this crossing no man's land, and it is terrifying because we had all these explosions going off, and the tin hat. Yeah, you're wearing this bloody stupid tin hat, and it's bouncing on your nose. So you can't really see where you're going, and you're trying to run across mud. And I'm just thinking, this cameraman, right? I mean, how did he not slip? I mean, like, that was.
They got small cameras these days, and they those cameras cope with anything. So technology is such that you can do shots that you couldn't do 50 years ago. But
if you're gonna slip over, you're gonna slip over.
Yeah, but you know when they do stunts with cameras, right, and they put it on cars and stuff, they have disposable cameras. So it's probably a disposable.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was in I was also an extra in a film called Lost in London, which was all shot in one take with properly, with one, like the cameraman was just the whole thing, and it was the first time in history that not only was it a single take film, but it was done and broadcast live whilst they were filming it.
Who was in that again? Who was in that?
It's
American guy. American.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I know what you mean. It was broadcast live, and yeah, I remember that. That was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Woody Harrelson.
That's it, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, really? Well, he does a lot of experimental stuff.
He does, yeah.
I was wondering. Terrifying.
I was wondering when Problem Bean would come to the point where, when I was in this film,
but it's relevant.
Yeah, I did think of Warhorse in this.
Yeah, but I mean, you really do feel. I mean, like, hats off to these guys, because I know what they were going through. Especially the trench scenes. Because you really, really feel like you're in the middle of it, because it's no matter where you look, you can see it all. Like if you look at, if you're not looking at the cameras or any green screen areas particularly, you're looking at the cast around you, the mud and all the grim looking faces. It's cold, it's wet, and you're there. You're really there, especially when you're running across that no man's land. And it was a huge stretch to run, and someone actually fell in one of those pots where they have all the rubble, made of cork or whatever it is, and that thing explodes. Someone actually landed. They slipped and landed in this thing just before it went off, and they realized what happened, and then they sort of got up, legged it just before it exploded. Otherwise, they'd be flying across no man's land. That would have looked pretty awesome, actually.
Still a good film. I really enjoyed this film, to tell you the truth.
I did for the most part.
Together.
Sorry, what did you say, Rabbi?
So they've gone through no man's land. They get to the tree line, and the first thing they come to is this farmhouse, which they look around. It's deserted. They find a cow there. And they find some freshly squeezed milk. Whoever his name is, Guy McKay, the main character.
Schofield.
Yeah, sorry.
Schofield kid.
I remember him now. He fills up his canteen with milk after drinking some, and looks like the best milk anybody's ever drunk ever.
What a coincidence!
Yet another convenience in this movie.
That's right.
I'm going to keep mentioning just to sort of bed in why I can't rave about it.
So while this was going on, they saw a couple of biplanes fly overhead earlier, and then they see the biplanes come back, and you see from a distance a dogfight. Right, a dogfight goes on. And I think this is a really breathtaking sequence. It
was on the seat.
You see the far distance, the dogfight going on. There's two English planes against a German one. The German one gets hit. You see the smoke come up, and it goes down below the horizon. And then all of a sudden pops up at the horizon, and it's right freaking in front of them. It's coming right at them, plows through the barn, and they're lucky to escape with their lives. There's fire everywhere. Blake immediately sees the German pilot struggling to get out. He, like as a good human being that he is, goes and helps him out. And he says, "Quick to Schofield, go get water." Schofield rushes get water, and as on his way back, he hears Blake screaming as the deranged German pilot stabs him. I guess he doesn't know what's going on or where he is. And then to which Schofield shoots him. I never see him reload in this movie either, but he does. He gets quite a few rounds out. That little.
He got three, I think. He got three. Three rounds.
No, more than that. Much more.
Did he? I think it was three.
Yeah, the sequence when he went over the bridge. We'll get to it. So then we have just a breathtaking death scene. There's an incredible death scene of Blake as Schofield stays with him as he dies, and the makeup's incredible. You see him turn white. You see the
visual effect again, just like
it looks great.
Yeah,
and it's so authentic, so believable. You're so there. You're so in the moment.
Schofield lied to his brother at the end, didn't he? Jeez. the ending. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
He lied to his brother. He died with no pain. Yeah, like fuck, did he? Jesus Christ. He was bleeding out. He couldn't even
stand. He died quickly. He said he died quickly.
Didn't die quickly though, did he?
That's kind of quick.
Under 5 minutes. That's pretty quick.
I mean, he died deliriously. I mean, I don't think he was in
3 months.
Can I just open up a can of worms that we didn't properly close earlier on? Sorry, guys. But when you were talking about the dogfight, I mean, I agree with all of that. And when the plane sort of rears back up at you like that, incredible moments. But I think that you see when we talked about budget earlier on, it would have been with all the money in the world, they could have filled the sky with aeroplanes, dogfight after dogfight after. But the fact that it was just two, when I said controlled,
I agree. Yeah, 100%. I
just love that it was just the two of them, because that you hear about that all the time. I used to hear older relatives of mine talk about that happening in British skies, and how they would see German planes and things. So that had, I think, the fact that it was so, the sky was so much bigger than they were, but it was still going on. It's just wonderful stuff.
The framing,
choices like that, yeah.
Right. It was. Everything was to bring you into the point of view of Schofield, right? Everything. It was a first-person movie, basically from his perspective. And the interesting thing is, you thought it's from Blake's perspective because he had the emotional hook, the emotional resonance, right? So Blake dies, and now Schofield has to take on this, the urgency that Blake had. He's got to save Blake's brother. He's got to save those men. He's just got to do it. And that's when he meets the only Indian fighter, the soldier in Europe. You
got a lot of lines, didn't you? The mention of that.
Oh yeah. Listen, look what they
He was really good.
The Sikh.
The Sikh, yeah. It was I mean, honestly, I don't know what the history is, but I doubt it was like that. Although, am I wrong? Because my perception of history is built up from war movies. And war movies, of course, were so was it common to see your average Sikh?
No, it wasn't common. They were, Sikhs were in the military. They did fight on our side. But again, another convenience, there would have been one in every sort of however many hundreds of thousands of troops. I can't remember how many troops were in that war. He just happens to.
Yeah, you're not going to find a Sikh and 3 black guys, right? It's
exactly.
Convenience. The numbers simply were very small.
The fact that it was probably you could probably count them on the fingers of both hands at best. And the fact that the fact that he was there at the time and they turned up when they did, that's one convenience. And then we've got, I know it's not quite the same, but the fact that it just happens to be one that's a very sort of diverse and Oscar approved group of individuals.
Right,
but I did like that a lot because visually it was quite interesting, And
I didn't mind it.
And also it's like look, we understand the world we live in now, but I think that is fair representation. You got a little bit of a homage to their contribution, and I think that's fair enough.
Mark Strong was really good in that scene as well.
I think. There you go. Yeah, he was again one of these incredible actors. They've got a handful of the best British actors, threw them across the movie. You get one scene, and you're going to burn up the screen on that scene, and they all do. They all completely deliver,
without taking you out of it. That's the genius of it, because we know who these people are, but they are like sort of signposts along the route that you've reached this level. It's like the computer game. So you got the bad, not the bad boss, but the good boss. So you've got like these little markers that you've reached this point in the movie, you've reached this point in the movie, but it doesn't take you out of it at all, and they're very commanding figures.
But if you notice, you hear his voice first. You don't see you hear his voice.
Right.
That's part of that too. Sorry for Christopher.
Oh no, I was just going to say. I mean, I don't, outside of the British actors that are popular in America, I don't recognize a lot of them. So that's why I said earlier the only one that I recognized was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
But I mean, I know him from Sherlock too. That's how I knew him before Doctor Strange.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, Star Trek Into Darkness.
I like the bit where they were pushing the van, and the van got stuck, and the wheels were. I love that bit because you didn't think they were going to do it, but they finally did it. They pushed
his absolute. I mean, he was grieving. He was angry. He was desperate. He needs to do. He needs to honor his friend.
Came together for him. I love that they all came together for him.
Yeah. That was really touching.
So Mark Strong has a couple of very important bits of dialogue and plot points. The first thing he says, when you get to this colonel in wherever you're going,
make sure there's witnesses.
Make sure there's witnesses. He's a bit bloodthirsty. He's a bit eager for the fight. So just to flesh it out, if you haven't seen it, you should go see the movie. To flesh it out, I've just what I was going to say. No, I'd remembered. Then I remembered. What was I going to say? About the job. I don't know. It'll come back.
You were basically going to say that he was warning him that they might not believe him, even if he does have the letter or not.
Thank you. And the other important thing was he has a stiff upper lip too. Schofield says, best not dwell on these things. Very good advice. In the middle of combat in a war. But it's just, again, you just see this.
You're getting killed otherwise.
And also, this Mark Strong's character was very sympathetic, wasn't he? He was wanting to help Schofield because you had that stupid general in the car going, "Move the tree, you idiots!" Blah blah blah. You had that idiot.
That disconnect.
But then you had Mark Strong, who was really simple because he could see in Schofield's eyes that he's been through hell. So he was willing to help him. Get in the van, that's going your way, and stuff like that. So the difference between Mark Strong's character and the guy in the car, huge gaping gasm, and I thought that was really, really, really nice. Nice part of the film,
very nice.
It was nicely done. So Mark Strong gives them a ride, and they get to the bridge to cross, but the Germans have destroyed everything. They've on their retreat.
Killed all the cows apart from one.
It's a retreat designed specifically to catch this colonel Benedict Cumberbatch. And to lure him into a insanely fortified area where they're going to massacre everyone. So he gets they get to the bridge and he says, "Well, we can go round." He's like, "No, I don't have time. I got till dawn to get there." So we have another perilous scene making me think, "Oh, I wish this was a game I was playing." As he climbs across the bridge and he starts to take fire from somewhere and he can't work out where. So that's just an incredible scene as he gets across there. And then he has to return fire. There's a sniper attacking him, and he manages to
hit him.
Right, like with the first shot as well. But he lets go loose a good few shots.
Sniper.
And then he goes up to the sniper. He's like got his gun. Goes in the building. Goes up the stairs. Opens the door, and the sniper shoots at him, and he shoots back. And you don't know what happened to him. He falls backwards down. Passes out. This is getting towards late afternoon right now. Passes out. Screen goes blank. Then he wakes up. There's some water dripping on his face. He doesn't know what time it is. It's dark out, and he's got to get there by dawn, or everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to die.
Yeah, the whole face of the wall goes in favor of the Germans.
And he forces himself to get up. And he finds that he has killed the
in one of the most beautifully lit scenes I think I've ever seen. It's glorious. You got all these flares going on, going up outside, and the way the light moves across the room. Yeah, it's stunning, absolutely stunning.
I wonder how much was CGI though. That's the question.
I don't care. It just looks remarkable.
No, I don't care either.
CGI and special effects for me are like boobs, okay? They're like, but how are they like boobs? If you can't tell they're fake, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I just wonder, that's all.
Yeah. I know. I mean, the contrast. I mean, the light. You got this golden sort of amazing, almost like a holy kind of light.
This whole sequence now, it's a nighttime sequence. It's in the war-ravaged town of what's it called again? Whatever.
Acoust.
The Acoust, and all the basically most buildings are rubble, and it's for this incredibly beautifully lit. Now Sam Mendes does know what he's doing when making pretty looking movies. I think Skyfall is perhaps the best looking Bond movie.
He's not responsible for the way the movie looks. It's the DOP that's responsible. Why are you giving him credit for?
By the director.
The director asked the DOP, how can I do this? And he says, we'll do it this way. And then the director goes, okay. And then he gets all the credit for it. What's that all about? It's the
DOP. Roger Deakins. Hat tip to Roger Deakins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, after recording this, the trailer for Dune just dropped apparently.
Oh wow!
We'll have to look at that.
Roger Deakins movie as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's brilliant.
That's a good sign.
I know someone's posted to my Facebook group already, but I haven't watched it yet.
All right. So this whole sequence, there's random Germans in this town. He's running for his life. And then we get to a moment where we get a bit of a breather. He breaks into this basement of a still standing building.
Well, first of all, he does that scene where he has to strangle a German whilst the other one is drunk and thrown.
Oh my God! So thank God these Germans found some brandy and they're drunk out their mind. And he's able to sneak up on one, and he doesn't realize he's a British soldier. Strangles him. Yeah. Oh my God! What a sequence!
And the other one's just kind of like walking in, and he's still strangling this guy, trying to silence him. And the other guy, before he works out who he is, it's really tense.
But you're missing the bit where he meets the woman and the baby.
Yeah, that comes next.
That comes next.
Does it? I thought it came after it.
No, that comes.
No, it came after it. It came after it because he runs off, doesn't he? And he keeps running. After he runs past the shoulder, when he's drunk, he keeps running, then he gets to the waterfall, and then he falls in there.
Because he loses his gun, doesn't he?
He loses the gun when he's strangling that guy.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about the little holders in the movie where I would say low. So I like this moment where he meets this woman, this young girl. She could be more than 16, 17. She looks like a young girl, and who has a baby living in a basement in the rubble. And she's terrified, and he's and they just have this wonderful moment. I really like the scene. He gives her his food, his ration, the milk he has, and again, I really like this little respite scene. So, what does everybody else think up until this point?
I really, as I said, I really like the movie. There's loads of emotional beats in it, and it works for me. I mean, there are certain things that I understand what Dan is saying, but I mean, those things go way over my head, especially when you're enthralled with the movie and you're really, deep inside the movie, and you're rooting for the guy. But I do get what Dan's saying. Yeah, there are a couple of points where it kind of slows a bit, but it didn't really bother me that much. But
that was one of them because they're nice scenes, because they're so well acted and they look so pretty. I feel like a bit of a wanker for pointing it out. But the fact is, if the fact is, you respond how you respond. I think
exactly.
Why am I now having to G myself up again for this quest? And I just think that all the bits, Eric Morecambe quote coming up. He hits all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order.
In the right order. I'm afraid that Father probably doesn't get that, nor does the Rabbi. Or maybe the Rabbi does get that joke.
I'll send you a link. Send you a link later on, Father Christopher. You might like that.
I'd be interested.
It's something I think you have to grow up with. Okay, there's a comedy. There's a comedy duo called Morecambe and Wise. They are completely. You cannot be English without knowing who Morecambe and Wise are.
Morecambe and Wise is,
Two Ronnies for the win. Sorry.
In the 70s, they used to have the big Christmas show that all the big stars would fight to be on, and they were just hilarious. They really were just hilarious.
Yeah.
But
that's 23 million people.
I'm sure you'll find a lot of.
Two Ronnies was better.
Really, you think?
At one point, 52 million watched
Let me tell you.
Welcome a Wise Christmas special. 52 million. My God.
That was over half the population of the UK.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah.
Tell you, they should will that out this year. I don't think.
Yeah, opposite Doctor Who.
You might get Mel and Sue instead. Great.
Oh God.
They should strip rub the goodies. Over
the goodies.
Now you're talking.
That? Oh my God!
Physical cartoon. That's what it was. It was a cartoon. It was all physical stuff. Crazy.
Okay, so
Monty Python for kids.
1917.
Let's go back to 1917.
Oh yes, that.
Although now I want to see the Goodies do 1917. You know how the Goodies
they did Crimson Cows. I remember that. It was funny. Yeah. They were like Mad Comics, weren't they? But they were just a little bit more crazier than Mad Comics. But,
yeah,
they were good.
Yeah, no, I do. But I do. Everybody enjoys the Goodies. Fine. So he sees the sun is starting to come up, and he's got to get to the was it the Devons, the 5th Devons, I think something Devons. And so she tells him you have to go via the river. He runs out again. He's shot at by a bunch of random German soldiers. He runs. He jumps off a bridge into a river, and then all of a sudden he's in Deliverance. And he goes down, but not in the bad bit of Deliverance. Thank God. And he goes into he falls down the river, goes on some white river rafting without a raft, and eventually, after climbing over a lot of dead bodies, I think they're just
that was horrific. Yeah, lots of bloated dead bodies. Oh,
so what happened there? Do you reckon the Germans took a bunch of people out from the village and shot them into the river?
They look like German soldiers.
They look like civilians to me.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
French soldiers. And he climbs out all the bodies, makes it out. He doesn't have his gun anymore, doesn't have his helmet, doesn't have his jacket, and he makes it out, and he's staggering in the woods, and he hears some singing in the distance. And he goes to the singing, and he sees a bunch of troops sitting, listening to here. He sees this scene right here. He sees a bunch of troops sitting, listening to a man give a beautiful rendition before they head out. He's completely shell shocked. He doesn't know where it is, what's going on, what time of day it is. Well, what's up, what's down, right? He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm still getting goosebumps now just from remembering that scene, because that song was just beautiful.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, honestly, for me, it moved too quickly for me to notice any problems in pacing. I hear what you're saying, but if this was, it could have been 20 minutes shorter. But other than that, I think
it was as long as it needed to be. I don't have a problem with the pacing at all. For me, I was so engrossed.
I agree with you, Rabbi. I think at the end of the day, it's the runtime. Maybe to keep things in this exact order, it's the momentum doesn't keep up. And yes, of course there should be lulls. Of course there should be moments to catch a breath, because there are in real life and in real trauma and in real in urgent situations. Of course there are, but it's a movie. It's got to. I mean, obviously I'm in the minority of who's responded in this way, but. I'd be really interested, because I never read any other reviews, and this is the first film I had never seen this, and I've never even spoken to anybody who has seen it. So I think it must have came out. It came out at the cinema just before Christmas, and I think that with Christmas and the election in the UK, and then COVID, and then BLM, I don't actually think I've ever. I mean, I was amazed when I found out it was actually on DVD and Blu-ray, because to me, this is a film that was I only saw the trailer for it whenever it was 3 weeks ago. That's what it seems to me. So, it's completely raw.
Well,
I'd never seen it before either. I mean, my brother was telling me about it. Yeah, I heard all the hype as well.
A lot of people gave it praise. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting.
But I generally don't like war films.
No, me neither.
Unless it's made by the Americans. but
this is quite an unusual film, because as I said last week, is most war films are set in the Second World War. There are very, very, very few set in the First World War.
Well, the First World War coming back into vogue now in cinema.
Well, because we recently had the anniversary. Well, not the anniversary. I mean,
when he was running through those trenches, I thought that trench wouldn't stop. When he was trying to find the last general, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Oh,
He's over there. He's over there.
Right.
Running.
Final reel. He realizes he's found the brigade that he needs to, the
battalion. Are they called battalion?
The battalion he needs to, and he also realizes that they're not all dead. He thought that if it's the sun had come up, which has happened, dawn has happened, that they would all be dead.
Because his watch had broken at this point, so he didn't know what time it was.
Right. He got, when he got shot, and he said, and they said, no, we're the last wave. There's still tons of people to go. I think the majority will still go. So
that was the first wave. Yeah, that was the first wave. No, that was the last wave, but the first wave were about to go.
Right. So the chase is on. He's got to get down the trenches. He's got to get to Cumberbatch, whatever his name, the colonel. And so this is just a wonderful scene where he's trying to find where to go. He keeps pouring down through the trenches. Eventually, he goes over the top of the trenches, so we can have this quick run again. Must have been filmed with the camera on the car driving backwards, right?
It was, and all the grass was added, and the explosions that behind him were added. The men were added as well. Yeah. So when they were driving with the camera, it was making marks on the grass, and I had to replace those. And all the men, it's like half the men are running, and they multiplied the men as they were running as well. So pretty genius stuff, if you ask me. Pretty good.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Well, I'm telling you, listen, I think we are 5 to 10 years away from being able to do effects like this on your home PC. The speed with which things move, technology is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
It's the aliens.
Well, there is an actual science to this, because there was a study done on information. So over the period of human history, information has been doubling. So from the Romans, so as things double over time, the time where information doubles gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter.
Right.
And that was where the whole 2012 thing came in, because that's where information was doubling so fast. It's now to the point where information is now predicting itself. So it's now gotten to the point where information is ahead of us.
I think green screen's going to be something of yesterday soon, because now they're talking about LED backgrounds and stuff.
It'll just be AI. It'll just be AI.
Where they make Mandalorians, absolutely unbelievable. So with the background stuff. So
they still spend a fortune on the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, jeez, Christ, yeah. But no, that scene's a really good scene. When he was running, he took a chance, didn't he? He got up and he ran.
He ran trying to stop it, but he's just like, no, I've got to do this. I've got no time to fuck around. And he's like, if I have to go through the trenches, it will take me too long.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're really, as you can see, the first wave are already sent over the top. So they're fucked. That's it. So he's got to stop.
Well, I don't think they're completely screwed. I don't think they're going to spring the trap until much more of the wave is on. So I think they're probably mostly okay. I think they still.
I reckon that guy behind him is dead, though. The guy there, he's dead.
One moment which I really, really love at this moment, where he gets back in the trenches. He's right next to the guy trying to find the colonel, and he's like, he found the captain, and the captain can't talk to him because he's in absolute tears. He's this upper class twit who doesn't know what to do, and he's like,
that was a great moment. Love that.
Because I just thought there's that. I love those moments of realism, authenticity, and more. Actually, you know what it's like? Reminded me of. There's a great scene in Apocalypse Now where they got the helicopter attack and the helicopter lands, and there's the one soldier that I'm not going. Do you remember? I yanked him out, and it feels like you're watching like documentary footage. So anyway, he finally makes it to the bunker. They won't let him in. They said you
can't
up
the tension.
Don't have clearance. He fights him off and he gets in, and he meets
Sherlock.
Sherlock, who is the glory hound. I mean, he's not really a glory hound. You actually end up having some sympathy for him in the 2 minutes he's on screen. He's like, I've been fighting this war. You keep telling me to back off, and it keeps causing us a disadvantage. We got them on the run. Finally, we're not stopping for anything. And it's like, this is the And so they finally get him to read the read the letter. And I think you needed an actor of Cumberbatch's stature to pull off the scene, and he really does. He really incredibly does. Yeah, again, he's not a warmonger. He is, but he's not like pointlessly bloodthirsty.
Well, he's been planning this for a long time, so he's invested completely. He thinks he's gonna win this war by himself almost. He's totally on board. He's totally geared up for this, and he thinks this is it. And then someone comes along and says, "You can't do this," and he's just like, "What?"
To the personal strength, right? Which I'm, really kind of.
He tells him to fuck off, doesn't he? But then he gets the other sergeant, I guess, says, "Well done." So he does get some recognition.
I was just gonna say, it's amazing that the letter survived being in the water and the river for so long.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the only complaint I would have.
Thank God it wasn't in the other guy's pocket, which was covered in blood. His map. They lost the map when Blake got killed because it got covered in blood. He couldn't read it anymore. Right. So, but again, wonderful scene. And then I don't know the name of the actor who plays the officer who talks to him afterwards. Who's the only guy?
Out of Gavin and Stacey's name.
Yeah,
been in everything. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah. And so he now his mission is to go and find Blake's brother, who's been described as looks like him a bit, just a bit.
It did look like him, didn't he?
Yeah, they cast it really, really well because he comes across Richard
Both
Madden
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. They're both from Game of Thrones.
That was a moving scene. I don't know what you guys thought, but I was very moved by that.
Yeah, that actually made me tear up a lot.
100% made me cry. You thought Cumberbatch's performance was like as stellar as you could get. Richard Madden goes, hold my beer. And it just
that was so touching. It was so sad. So sad.
And again, this incredible strength, this incredible personal strength. I love it. I love movies like this. Fantastic performance. Absolutely fantastic.
Did you guys make a connection at the ending when he sits next to the tree? It's basically the same shot as the beginning of the movie when he's sitting next to the tree asleep.
Yes.
Remember when the movie starts?
Yeah.
Kind of bookends the film when he goes next to the tree and sits down. Yeah, and he looks at his girlfriend. Yeah, it is quite cool. The ending's quite cool. I really like this film. I thought it was really good. Personally.
It's a beautiful film. I would happily sit through this again, and I have to say as well, the score.
So well.
The score of this film was exquisite. I mean, it was so beautifully scored. Thomas Newman. Yeah, he honestly,
it's very subtle.
The credit music at the end was just absolutely epic. It's just so amazingly. I mean, it seems to pull at your soul. It's just like you get a sense of the history behind what this story is about, and that music really does enhance that for me.
Well, again, and then we get the title card saying this is a very personal story from Sam Mendes, right? Which I thought was, honestly, I mean, I absolutely cried in this movie because it's, it was just emotionally, it took you on an incredible journey,
roller coaster,
and just genuinely cared about everybody involved in it.
The only thing I regret is not watching it in the cinema because I never got a chance to see it in the cinema.
Great. So let me ask you. Compare this to Dunkirk. What compare and contrast? What are your thoughts? So I was going to be this and that for this one.
I've never seen it, so I can't.
I've seen Dunkirk. I've seen Dunkirk. I like this film better than Dunkirk.
The one I thought that The Longest Hour was better than Dunkirk.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I don't think I've seen it. See,
that's the name, isn't it? The Churchill one.
Yeah,
Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour.
Yeah, I love Darkest Hour.
I got 2 of the 3 words right.
I was in that one as well.
Oh dear, problem being he's a problem.
So do you have an IMDb page?
No, well, for problem being I do because someone someone did that. Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why.
That's my fault. I'm afraid it's a guy who follows. Well, yeah, it's a guy who follows everything we do on Type 40. So if you appear on Type 40 or Warp Drive, this guy, he's out there. It's like he does the IMDb, and so I do appreciate that, and so do we all. It's quite cool to have an IMDb page. So
I must admit, this is a really good choice, Rabbi. This film.
Wonderful choice. I absolutely loved it. Because I wanted to see it when it came out, but I just didn't get the chance. And
I'm glad
so glad I've got to see it.
Got a winner. Look at that. That's pretty good news. So, by the way, my biggest problem with Dunkirk, I was just going to say, is you have this whole plot thread with Tom Hardy, right? And at the end of the movie, he's captured and is going to go to a POW camp. That's the movie I wanted to bloody see. Get movie. Tom Hardy with a shot down a Spitfire pilot in a prisoner war camp. That sounds freaking awesome.
I don't know. I mean, with this film, right, it's quite realistic. But as I said, I do like the American stuff more because I love fantasy. So when you watch something like Great Escape, it's very, fantasized version of the movie. And I love the music and, the what's his name? Steve McQueen's character and all that stuff. I love that. But this movie is very realistic. And I enjoy this one too. But as I said, if there was a choice, I would. Yeah,
I really think it shows you that absolute horror.
But you don't really need to see it. I mean, okay. Why would you want to?
Because
I go to the films I go to cinema to enjoy myself, not to be depressed.
The only thing with this is that Mendes said that that this was to show how Europe should be unified. So he's making a political point. About
was he?
Yeah.
Thank God he did it softly, so I could enjoy the bloody movie.
Yeah. Be grateful for small mercies. I think what I take away from this, and I hear everything that you've just said, probably being about all those things, the big broad things, the futility of war, and all that sort of thing. I think that when we hear about this war, 100 years on, we get the figures, don't we, of how many men lost their lives, how many horses too, but it's mostly how many men across all sides, all of the fighting territories lost their lives.
It was the first industrialized war, and that really did set a new record in horror. But also, I mean, because it's such an industrial scale, and loads of men die. But if you look at it compared to, let's say, battles like Agincourt or something like that, where medieval warfare, where you're hacked to pieces, death would have at least have been a lot quicker by Gatling gun.
This is the difference, because weird. When we talk and when we're told about these things at school, and when we recount back things we may read on Wikipedia or whatever, so many hundreds of thousands of young men died, and that hits you. But obviously, over time, the sad fact of reality is even things like that kind of lose their power, and we sort of take it for granted. So what this film does so beautifully is it takes it. Okay, you've got that sort of first-person shooter angle, but the novelty of that, the beauty of that, and the trick that Sam Mendes pulls off so beautifully is he recognises the power in just one man. Despite the fact we've got all those numbers and how tragic it's just one man to do one thing on one day, and that just refocuses it, realigns us with these chapters of our own.
And how young they are, how much, I mean, if you look at how closeted younger people are today, and then seeing someone like their age group being in that situation, and especially the character that died in such a horrible, pointless
Could you imagine if they picked Baldric and Blackadder to do that mission? That'd be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
It would have been Captain Flashheart that would have done
it. They should make that into a film.
Funnily enough. Fine. Do you want to start thinking about what's for next week, or does anybody have anything else to add?
Well, I think it should definitely be Gravity, because it'll really annoy Noel.
It'll annoy me.
Before we leave 1917 behind, I think yes, Rabbi, we should probably say whether we'd recommend it to somebody else or not.
I'll recommend it.
110%.
I recommend it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good film. It's a good film.
Without question.
Marvelous cinema.
And despite my
reservations,
bugbears with it, absolutely would recommend it to anybody. It is fantastic in many ways. In the majority of ways, it's fantastic.
It's beautiful. It's a beautifully shot film. I mean, the night scenes particularly were just breathtaking.
Well, and it's believable. I mean, the fact that one shot, even though it isn't. It's believable.
Yeah.
Again, it's all about bringing you into that first person,
Such a journey.
It really is. Fine. Okay, so listen, I'm going to show you what's behind door number 1. So this is a story.
Oh, God. Scared.
Okay, I want to see if you can work out the theme. There's a theme behind it. It's behind door number 1.
Go on in.
Okay. I've just recently finished watching the
BBC
canal,
shit.
No, the canal one.
Oh, the canal one. The BBC one was crap.
Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah, the BBC one was dreadful. I couldn't watch the third final installment.
Wait, is the canal one the one where it becomes a
It's a bit like Black Mirror's one with the robot dog thing. It's just loads of them.
I like that one.
I like that. I like that
Kind of
one.
like that.
Door number 2.
Is it Tom Cruise by any chance? Is it, mate?
You got half the answer. It's Tom
Okay.
Spielberg.
Spielberg. It's Spielberg. It's definitely Spielberg because Spielberg directed those 2 movies.
Yeah, Cruise Spielberg. So
what's the next one?
Father Miller. What would be your choice between the 2?
Again, I've seen both of these, so
Yeah.
I saw War of the Worlds in the theater too.
I think I did as well. So fine, you're
I'm either one.
He said either, yeah.
Dan, what's your preference?
I've also seen both of these, but not for some time. You could toss a coin and decide for me. I'd watch both of them again. I suppose I'd probably prefer Minority Report because I've just not long seen a version of War of the Worlds, and I intend, I suppose you can see too many versions of the same thing. But
at least you don't have the little girl screaming in this one.
That little girl was okay. She was quite good, actually.
Yeah, but it gets a little annoying.
Yeah,
I never had a single problem with it myself, but
was it my thinking was I just recently saw a version of War of the Worlds as well. I got into that mood, and so I thought, War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise. I think that's actually a really underrated version of it. And I thought, you know what? I honestly think the Tom Cruise version is one of the most book accurate ones, other than putting it in.
No, it's not.
Wait, so he actually saves the day?
The daughter that's added in, but a lot of the beats I felt from the book are really there, and important beats as well.
Absolutely.
I'm still waiting for a proper adaptation.
Yeah,
I'm really pinned it on the BBC to get it right, and of course, no, they didn't because they made it woke as hell.
Not the Big Finish one. There was a rival one, which was a crowdfunded by Sherwood Studios. That is the most accurate, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Maybe the musical version would be.
I don't think I can take another 90 minutes of talk about War of the Worlds version, so I vote for Minority Report.
Mega Geek, what's your vote?
Minority Report. It's much better than War of the Worlds.
Oh yeah, Housebound is a better movie. I'm not going to argue about that. Minority problem being, what's your choice?
Even though with all my gripes about War of the Worlds, I still think I enjoyed watching it more because I love watching destruction stuff.
You in that one too?
Even that one. But hey, I'll go with the majority for the minority.
you won't be the Minority Report. I guess it's Minority Report. Yeah, listen, I think the panel mostly wants Minority Report. Fine, cool. That's a fun movie. I haven't seen for years actually. So I'm kind of like my other thinking is I try to think, well, what do I want? What am I in the mood to watch this week? Right. So Minority Report, I guess it works for me. Okay, I think we had a successful one this week.
Apart from Dan, a little bit of a gripe about it. But
no, still really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get something much more controversial.
I want the soundtrack.
We should
get something controversial.
When Noel comes back, we should be Gravity, or Gravity. But no, I can't do them. Fine, okay. I want to thank the panel for coming, to taking the time to review the movie, giving me their thoughts, giving us their thoughts. I want to thank you, everybody out there, for spending your Friday, early Friday evenings with us. We are nothing but grateful. Friday night is, of course, your oyster on YouTube. We have many fine choices. Please go and subscribe to everybody's channel. Everybody's channel is in the video notes. I'm sure we all have fantastic content other than me. Fantastic content that going on in the next 24 hours. So I'm going to say, have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for coming.